Hi, I'm Shainti, the artist behind Shainti Fine Arts. Today's video is dedicated to watercolors and I am going to do an experiment with art styles. Along with my fellow YouTuber Art of Ley Saulnier, we met or rather found each other through a Facebook group and became good friends and decided to do a collaborative tutorial. She on her channel, which is linked below in the video description, does a lot of digital art and traditional art and art reviews. Do check out her channel and her video on the same topic once you finish this one. And we decided to take a line art of mine, which I have also linked in the video description for you to use freely for your own art experiments. And we decided that we'll start with that line art and go in our respective directions and see where each of our styles take us. In this painting, I am starting off with the peach blossoms. At least that is what I have been told, that these are peach blossoms. And I am working like as usual. I work with watercolors from the lightest color to the darkest color. So the lightest of pinks and yellows first, and then slowly work wet into some darker colors, and then I will let it dry and come back with more layers of additional colors, some purples, some blues for the shadows, and darker yellows and pinks, reds, and even browns for the peach blossoms. But that is not really what this painting is all about. This is not a tutorial on how to paint peach blossoms, although you can follow it through and you can learn quite a bit on how I am painting the peach blossoms. But this was more about a collaboration and trying to see and experimenting with art to see what happens when you push through your boundaries and try experimenting with different art styles. The sketch that I started with was not really something that was Ley's style of work, but she thought, okay, let's pick up the challenge and see what we end up with. And it was completely a surprise for me when she came up with a final painting, because it was truly amazing looking and very different from what I could have imagined ever. For me, this was a project where I was not following any rules that I generally follow. I was just wanting to do something completely against my methods and processes. For the first thing, I did the drawing in a more line art sort, which is not absolutely my style. I do a lot of realistic portraits. Even in my surrealistic portraits, the actual things, I look at reference photos and try to stay very close to the reference photos. This particular face, when I sketched it out, I looked at no reference photo at all. The only reference photo in the entire painting that I have used is for the peach blossoms. Other than that, I have used no reference photos, no color scheme, composition, enhancers, nothing. Just straight out of my mind, whatever my hand said, okay, let's do this next and see what happens. So that was huge for me, because typically my style, my method of painting is that I totally have everything planned out in my head, and if I have to change anything in the process because it's not working out, I'm always ready to do that, but I definitely have a very good plan of where everything is going. Here, I did not have that. And more importantly, for the face, as for the drawing, I have drawn a lot of faces, so proportion wise I knew that wouldn't be a big deal. It will still look realistic. But what I wanted is to try something different than what my portraits look like. I did not want this painting to be all about the woman's face. I did not want the realistic looking woman's face. Yes, it still looks like a woman's face, a girl's face, but the color schemes, I wanted to go with the peach blossoms. I wanted the peach blossoms to be the highlight of the painting, and everything else just follow the color schemes of that. And thus I painted hair like like nothing like I would ever say, like I always say, paint, look in terms of clumps and clusters and values and all that. Nothing like that. I used rainbow colors in the hair actually. Went from browns, yellows, greens, blues. I wanted to use all the colors in the nature. I wanted to use all the colors that I am seeing around me in the spring. I wanted to look at it, and I wanted everybody to look at it and think, okay, these are peach blossoms, and this is woman is just an addition to the peach blossoms. The peach blossoms were what I was focused into, and I wanted everything else just to be a carry along with the peach blossoms, and hence the color pattern from the face, the eyes, the lips. Yes, they had crimsons and pale colors like face would, but they had like greens and yellows that I would never ever dream of putting it in a realistic painting of a portrait. So that was a huge big learning for me in this entire painting. Just pushing my boundaries and challenging myself to do something without any plan, to go with the flow and see what happens. That is something absolutely not something I'm comfortable with. So I am totally was out of my comfort zone, and a lot of times I was kind of worried that it will not work out, and I will totally mess it up. And I was kind of wondering, what would I tell Ley, that I couldn't do it, or would I have to redo it? But I just kept going, and I thought, whatever happens, I'll go with this painting. And when you finally see the painting, I would let you be the judge whether it worked out or not, whether you like it or not. But what my goal was to do something very different from my style, to use colors that I would never imagine using in a portrait, and see where it takes me. Experimenting about art styles, experimenting about art in general, experimenting about pushing boundaries in art is something that I'm exploring currently. And I have to admit that Robin Clance has been a vital part in this particular thing that I am into. I have been watching a lot of her videos, and I've been constantly listening to her talking about the different style changes that she has gone through in the past years, and how she takes up different challenges of painting without a plan, painting without reference, and all these painting in very little time. So I wanted to try all of that, or some of that, and see where it takes me. And like I was saying, like, I wanted to paint very fast too. In this case, in my realistic painting, I never look at time. I just let it take as much time as it takes, and give it so much time. And this one, I thought, no, I have to finish within this hour, and I did. And whatever happens, happens. And that was how I looked at it. I wanted to be it challenging in every possible way, starting from the concept sketch, starting from not using reference photos up till using the colors that I would never dream of using in a face, and make painting a so-called rainbow face. At this point, I'd have to tell you that some of the parts of the video, my video camera decided, okay, I will turn off and I will not record. And so all of a sudden you will see a lot of the colored part which you had not seen before. But this is not really something that you need to see every little detail or every little steps. I'm just going with the flow, and I want you to try look into the link that I have posted of the concept sketch, and try this use this concept sketch reference, and try your own experiments and see where it takes you. And if you do, definitely do share with me over social media. I would really, really like to know what you came up with when you experimented with this, and where your style took you with the same reference photo. So that was all this collaboration, this painting, this entire project was about. Trying different things, pushing our boundaries, and see where our art styles, where our art goals, where our artistic abilities take us. That was a real big learning. Not that I did not follow the basic rules of watercolor, from going from light to dark, or like following the rules of blending, or using the right paper, or using artist quality materials. I did all of that so that if the finished product comes up nice, and I would always be able to sell it or make prints out of it. But making a product or a finished product that is sellable, that everybody would be wowed with, it was not my goal. My goal was to see, if I push myself out of my comfort zone, where I end up being. And I think this is very important for every artist, to every once in a while push yourself out of your comfort zone and paint something, not to create an artwork to sell, but to just see, when you let yourself out of the zone, let yourself follow just your thoughts and not plan, just go with the flow, what happens. That sometimes give you a lot of perspective, a lot of different ideas. Like this particular painting now has given me ideas to several other projects, several other challenges that I will be taking up in the near future. And there will be a lot to learn for me, and definitely for you as well, because I will be sharing all of my projects with you, and sharing every time what I learned from each of the projects. So let me know in the comments what you think about this painting and the video and our collaboration, and both of our artwork, both Ley's and mine, which one you like better. It's not a competition or anything. We both have our own identity. So, but it would be nice to know what you think of about it. So let me know in the comments. Hit the like button, and do not forget to subscribe to stay on top of every single post I make every week, which is twice a week. So stay tuned for more.